Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina, and if you are new here on my channel, I do bookish related things and I also do beauty. So if that sounds like something you'd like to be a part of, I say please subscribe here to my YouTube channel, and if you do like this video by the end of it, I say please give it a thumbs up. So if you can tell by the title already, you know what book we're going to be talking about and what today's book chat beauty is going to be about, and that is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. Yes, I know it's another Sarah J Maas book, but I mean, I've been reading a lot of Sarah J Maas lately, and this was one of the recent books that I just picked up because it just recently came out, and I was actually low-key a little curious about it, but not really. If you've seen my vlog, which is up now I believe, you know that I wasn't like too excited, but I picked it up nonetheless because it is Sarah J Maas. But I'm glad I picked it up because I actually really enjoyed myself, and you will find out here in a minute. So yeah, if you want to see how I created this look and then also hear me talk a little bit about the book, then I suggest you please keep on watching. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so jumping into the story, you guys already know, per usual, I do my brows off camera, and I already set my eyelids with some primer. Or not primer, I've already set my eyelids with some concealer. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the story. So we're gonna be talking about A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. Yes, another Sarah J Maas book is gonna be talked about on today's Book Chat Beauty. But I've just been reading several Sarah J Maas books the past couple of months, and this one so happened to be my favorite in March out of the two books that I read in March. So yeah, I will say it wasn't going to be my favorite at first. It was roughly ranked for me personally like a 3.5 star, but because of the ending of the story is what really put it at a 4 star for me. Also, I'm going to go ahead and mention that I might say some spoilers. I'm pretty sure I will. So if you don't want to be spoiled by the story and have intentions on reading this book, then don't watch this video. Come back after you've read it, and you can talk to me about what you felt in the story down in the comments. So yeah, we are following Nesta Archeron, who is the oldest sister of Pharaoh Archeron. If you don't know who I'm talking about the main character in A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy, Pharaoh, that follows her journey. But in this story, we're following Nesta and her journey after the war that happened in A Court of Wings and Ruins, and all that stuff that she had to go through, from being forced into the cauldron and being turned high fae along with her younger sister Elaine. So we're following Nesta, and in this story we do learn that Nesta is holding on to a lot of grief. And I will say I did not like Nesta at all in A Court of Thorns and Roses. I didn't like her from all 3 books. I just didn't understand her character and why she was so ungrateful and why she was so mean to Pharaoh, and only like showed any kind of sympathy to Elaine and pretty much was protective over Elaine. I get Elaine was like their youngest sister obviously, but Pharaoh was the one that kept them from starving for so many years. So I didn't understand why she was so hateful to Pharaoh at all until I read this story. But I mean, that still doesn't excuse her for being so mean and so bitchy and so ungrateful. Like literally, Nesta, I hated her throughout the entire trilogy. But we're gonna discuss how my allegiance has changed for her since reading A Court of Silver Flames. So like I was saying, Nesta has gone through a lot, and she's holding on to a lot of grief. So she's holding on to a lot of grief after the war in A Court of Wings and Ruins. She almost lost everybody that she cared for, like her sisters, and that really scared her. But Nesta is very like guarded to begin with. She's just a very guarded person, and not knowing the way she is, like she's that way for a reason, will literally just continue to put like a sour taste in your mouth for her. But yeah, after the wars and everybody is settled back into the Night Court, Nesta is not happy to be there. She doesn't want to be there. So instead of like getting involved with her family, she pushes her family away. and just goes off and does her own thing, like with drinking and partying and, gambling and involving herself with other males, instead of like being there for her family. And she's pushing everybody away, including like Cassian, who's like super drawn to her. Cassian is one of the Illyrian warriors who's also close friends with the High Lord of the Night Court, and is like a best friend slash brother to Rhysand, who is the High Lord of the Night Court and who is Feyre's mate. Cassian is super drawn to Nesta, and he's trying to help her out, but Nesta is so guarded and so like traumatized from everything that's gone on from the war with Hybern, who was like in a court of wings and ruins, who they battled against. She's just so traumatized and just overall just very like guarded and doesn't want to be close to anybody. So she pushes Cassian away in the most hateful way possible, just by being ugly. And the same towards like Feyre. But she's always been that way towards Feyre. And then also she is that way with Elaine, which is really odd because she's always been super overprotective of Elaine, but she just can't handle everything that she's gone through with almost losing everybody. So the only way she knows how to process her pain is just by pushing people away, which granted, that's not the best way to handle things, but that's just her way. This really has put Feyre in a bad position because she is High Lady of the Night Court. She's expected to be respected even by like her sisters. Like, she's not supposed to be like disrespected. They're supposed to do as they say when it comes to Feyre, because she is like the queen of the Night Court, and Nesta doesn't respect this at all and finds any way to show Feyre like, just because you're queen doesn't mean I'm gonna bow down to you. And this really upsets Rhysand to the point where he's decided like there needs to be some change or she needs to leave, but he doesn't also want to like upset Feyre because obviously that's her sister, and he knows that Feyre loves Nesta. Even though Nesta is so mean, Feyre still like loves her. This kind of like gives Feyre and the rest of like the Night Court members to come together and kind of give Nesta an ultimatum, and they tell her like, either you get your act together and you stop living off of us and actually do something with your life, or you can leave. Simple as that. So that's one thing I kind of felt was kind of like I felt like she didn't, I get, okay, let me backtrack. I get where they were coming from. They wanted her to do better because after giving her her space and time and everything, like, she still wasn't bettering herself. They felt like maybe after a couple months from the war, like, her processing things the way she was processing them while like drinking, gambling, and then just like, you know, sleeping with all kinds of males, that she would soon like grow out of that and want to be, you know, back in the real world. But they noticed that it's just, as time goes by, like, she's not trying to change. She's constantly doing the same thing over and over, and she's like spending money that she's not earning. She's literally like just mooching off of Rhysand and Feyre. So yeah, this is like, enough is enough. Like, something needs to change. If not, like, then you don't need to be here no more, because we're not going to support your habits no more. And either you do it this way, our way, or you can just leave. So at first, Nesta was really like determined to just like leave, because she made it clear that she didn't want to be part of the Night Court at all. She hated Rhysand. She just didn't want to be a part of his family. But and Rhysand was like so ready to just say, well, then go, like, bye. But you know, he knows Feyre, like I said, loves her sister, and instead of like upsetting further, he was just like, look, this is what we're gonna, this is like your last chance with us. Either you can take it or you're free to go. So they said you can either go move to the House of Wind, which is like their family home, train with Cassian and work in the library and earn your keep here, or you can just go. So while they were pretty much talking to her about the whole situation, that she needed to pick this or the other, they were packing her things. Elaine was packing her things and getting it ready to get moved over to the House of Wind. So Nesta was pretty much just like, she was, what is the word? She was ambushed, and she did not like that at all. So Yeah, I do understand a lot. Like I said, I understand. They were really just trying to help her out. They saw that she wasn't making any progress with her grief, and she was just wasting her life on drinking, getting drunk every night, and partying and gambling, and just not doing anything for herself. So yeah, this pushes them to step in and try to help her forcefully. And in the process of all this, Nesta is learning how to accept things, and kind of let go of a lot. But it does take a while. I'm kind of like just speeding through because I don't want this video to be forever. After, like, you know, months have passed, she's starting to open up, and also she realizes like the house that she's living in is magical somehow and is answering to her. Like if she needs something, it'll give it to her. So one thing that I really enjoyed about the house is that its favorite thing to do was read smutty romances, and I thought that was so cute. Really, like, a house working in the library was a way to kind of get Nesta's mind off of everything and just, you know, do her job. And she ends up meeting a priestess down there while she was working and becomes really good friends with her. Her name is Gwen. They connected on a personal level because they both experienced traumatic experiences, like very traumatic experiences, to where they don't want to be part of the real world anymore. Nesta does not want to be part of the real world. That's why she would get drunk every night. So meeting Gwen opened Nesta up a whole lot more, or at least a little bit more. And then also throughout that, she was training with Cassian and opening up with him as well, learning how to protect herself and fight. And also while this is happening, they're getting close in relation. And yeah, it was really nice to see Nesta in her journey of, like, from self-destructive to like self-love. Granted, it did take her a while to get there, but the more Cassian helped her work through a lot of her pain, and just pretty much telling her, like, you know, everything that's happened wasn't your fault. You need to just let it go and just take it day by day. I thought was so freaking cute. I loved how patient Cassian was with her, and most of the time I was just like, girl, like, if you don't quit and just get over yourself, like, you have somebody there that really wants to love you, including your family, and I just don't understand why you're so freaking hateful. I don't understand why you are the way you are, and I wish you would just, like, change. Like, I tell you, Nesta at the beginning of the story was really, like, pissing me off, but as I kept reading, I started feeling for Nesta. I started understanding a lot. Yeah, so Nesta's first friend was with the priestess named Gwen, and then also traveling with Cassian to going from the House of Wind to the Illyrian war camp. She ended up meeting another Fae woman who was actually an Illyrian woman, and her name was Emery. And they became close as well, kind of like the same as like her and Gwen's relationship. They connected on a personal level from traumatic experiences. And let me tell you, when Nesta was making friends and opening up to like other people, it was making me so happy for her, because I mean, I felt like she was just connecting obviously with these girls because they suffered something very horrible in their life. And I mean, they bonded for that very reason. And it was just so sweet just to see Nesta like turning into somebody that's like, from being completely hateful to somebody that was actually likable and very loyal and very caring. So watching Nesta grow and grow friendships was really heartwarming to me, because like I've said so many times, I did not like Nesta, and I just was not understanding where she was coming from. But her telling her story and just pretty much, like I said, opening up to Cassian little by little and letting him know like why she was the way she is, and him just pretty much telling her, like I said, you can't hold on to everything, things that are not your fault, you know, like and she's learning she's learning to let go or work through it. So the more her relationships grow with these Fae women, also her relationship is growing romantically with Cassian. And in the story, oh my gosh, let me tell you, when I say there is so much smut in this story, there is so much smut in this story. I felt like almost every freaking chapter was about was about Nesta and Cassian getting it on. And the first scene was so entertaining yet funny to me because Nesta describes what he looked like from the waist down, and I was like, okay, like, it was hilarious. I could not with Nesta, like, it was just too much, but like all in the best way. So yeah, there was a lot of smut, and I was happy to see whenever they finally like decided to not do the do, but just decided to like stop playing cat and mouse with each other. Like the moment that they like finally like just kissed, I was there. I was for it, you know. I was yasping. I could not help myself, and yeah, I've been ready for it. To be completely honest, there was not very much plot going into this story. I felt like a lot of this was just built around Nesta and her POV and how she worked through it, and it was just mostly about Nesta and Cassian, their journey of becoming one, I guess you can say, because they are mates. But yeah, it wasn't really a lot on the plot, although like throughout the story too, she was supposed to find these three parts to a trove, I believe that's what it was called. But we didn't get very much of that. We didn't get very much of like the drama for that. When she found them, I expected a little bit more like challenging to get them, but it was just like a small challenge, and then she had it, and it was only 3 little things that she needed to find. So yeah, that was just kind of like a letdown, honestly. And that's why I wanted to rate this book a 3.5 stars. Although it was very entertaining when it came to like the smut, like I'm not even gonna lie, it was really entertaining when it came to the smut. But it got to the point where I was just like, okay, we get it. Like they keep getting it on. Like we know it was bound to happen. I'm glad it happened, but like, can we get on to like what's really the tea, you know, like what's really supposed to happen in this story? But we didn't really get that. We did get towards the end where the 3 girls like Nesta, Emery, and Gwen get kidnapped to get put into like this battle to become like Illyrian warriors that Cassian, Azrael, and Rhysand had to do. I forgot what it's called. Oh my gosh, I'm literally blanking out on everything right now. But yeah, it's something that they had to do to become like Illyrian warriors and get like their Illyrian little jewels that they keep on them. So because like Nesta was training with Cassian, she also convinced Gwen and Emery to train as well, because she wanted to make sure that these girls knew how to protect themselves at all costs and never have to experience traumatic experiences ever again at the hands of male Faes. You know, she just wanted to make sure that they were trained just as much as her. So that's where I say like Nesta was very caring when it came to her friends, and very loyal, and just really looked out for them. Another big thing that we learned in this story was that Pharaoh was pregnant. Oh my gosh, she was pregnant by obviously Rhysand, but she was having a little boy, and not just any little boy, a little winged little boy. He was gonna have wings like Rhysand. Oh my gosh, I could not, like, literally, this story was just entertaining all around. But like I said, I was gonna give it a 3.5 star because of the smut, but as we got towards the end and like the action picked up, as far as like when the girls got taken and put into like the test to get to the top of whatever mountain to become Illyrian warriors, yeah, it was just, that really got me to bump the book up to a 4 star, because Nesta was admitting everything. She was finally like happy with herself. She was happy with being who she was, even high fae. Like, she was just happy overall with herself, and was happy that she found people that she could relate to, and just overall she was just happy. And then finally happy the fact that her and Cassian were gonna be together, and she was okay with it. Like, she wasn't scared of it anymore. So yeah, it was just a sense of clarity, a sense of like her releasing that breath that obviously she had been holding for so long. That really like made me tear up. And just her making amends with everyone that she's ever hurt, including like her sisters and other members of the Night Court, and just overall like showing that she actually really loved her family even after being hateful for so many years. Like, she literally just finally opened up and just apologized to everybody, and she just finally decided that she had a purpose and wanted to be a part of everything and everyone around her. So yeah, that's what really sold the book to me. That's what really made me want to make this story a 4-star. So I feel like I talked about what I wanted to talk about. Granted, I didn't go full in depth with what I wanted to jump into, but it's okay. I still feel like I got pretty much a good sense of how I felt for the story and shared it with you guys. So yeah, it was pretty much about Nesta discovering who she is and accepting who she is throughout the entire story, and then also just coming to terms with how she's been hasn't been the greatest, and apologizing to those who she's hurt along the way of this self-destructive side of herself. So it was really nice and really magical to see Nesta grow as a person and just overall love herself and love who she is now, even though she's not human, but just overall love who she's become. Even though like her situation was forced on her, she's learned to just accept it and just embrace it and love it. That's one thing that I really loved about this story. We also learned that Nesta manifests some powers. When she went into the cauldron, she kind of like took from it, that we learn a lot in book 3, which is A Court of Wings and Ruins, which was part of Pharaoh's journey. So yeah, we did learn that Nesta manifested some powers, and it's really crazy the powers that she's manifest. And it's totally different, and it's kind of cool when you think about it, if you've read the story. So yeah, this makeup look was pretty much inspired by Nesta. I feel like Nesta is very classy, so I wanted to give her like a smoky eye, but also incorporate the silver because her eyes are like silver flames when she's in the moment and her powers are coming forward. So yeah, I wanted to add the pop of silver. But yeah, I feel like this is very a classy look. This is very something that I would probably see Nesta wearing when she's like out at a ball or something. So yeah, I think I pretty much said everything I wanted to say. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, night, wherever you are, and are staying safe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.